This is Module 3, Lesson 6, titled Rational Numbers on the Number Line. Our goal for this lesson: I can create an appropriate scale on a number line and locate integers and rational numbers and opposites on it. As always, make sure that you guys watch the videos as many times as necessary, pause where necessary, and take good notes. Let's go to the opening exercises to warm ourselves up. In Part A, the directions say write the decimal equivalent of each fraction. So we're going to make each of these fractions into a decimal. Now, if you remember back to previous lessons when we did this, we said that we could change any fraction into a decimal if the denominator is a 10, a 100, or a 1,000, because those numbers hold the place values in a decimal. Well, since I have 1 over 2, I can make it into something over 10. Since I multiplied that by 5, that by 5, I get 1/2 is equal to 5/10. Then I can change that into a decimal by putting a 5 in the tenths place. So 1/2 is equivalent to 0.5. 4/5, remember we can change it to something over tenths. That would be multiplying that by 2, multiply that by 2, makes it 8/10. So we write that as a decimal by putting 8 in the tenths place. The third example is a mixed number. That tells us that we are going to have a decimal that has a whole number in front of it. We're going to have 6 point something, since it's 6 7/10. If I look at just the fraction 7/10 part of it, it's already got a 10 in the denominator, so all I have to do is put 7 in the tenths place. 6 7/10 is equivalent to 6.7. Now if we go to section B, we have to write the fractional equivalent of each decimal. We're going to be writing these decimals as a fraction. If we think about this, we can first change these decimals to percents by using the old D to P method, by moving the decimal point 2 places to the right. So 0.42 equals 42%. Remember, a percent is a part out of 100, so we can write that as 42 over 100. And then we can simplify. I can divide a 2 out of both those numbers. 42 divided by 2 is 21. 100 divided by 2 is 50. And that is in simplest form. We always want our fractions in simplest form. Next example, we've got a decimal this time with a number or a digit in front of it that's not 0. So that tells us we're going to have a mixed number. If I deal with just the decimal part, I have 0.75. That means I have 75 over 100. If I simplify that, I can divide a 25 out of both of those. This becomes a 3. That becomes a 4. So my final answer is going to be 3 3/4, because I have that 3 in front of the decimal point. Last example, remember we're going to have 36 out in front of the decimal point, and then I have 90 over 100. I'm going to simplify. I can divide these both by 10, so I get 36 9/10.